Okay, today is Friday, May 12th. Sorry, let me turn that back on. Friday, May 12th, 6:19 p.m. We recently had this cabinet installed, and I just wanted to point out all the flaws that we've noticed because we are going to return it. We don't want to pay anything for it. It's not up to the professional standards that we expected out of a cabinet maker. First of all, it was made out of very cheap material. You can see it's made out of plywood and out of like 1x2 furring strips around the door for trim pieces. Okay, not very good material at all, just made out of plywood. It's not made out of furniture grade materials by any means. Okay. The routering around the doors is just horrendous. If you take a look around these doors, you can see how bad it's been, how nicked up it is. Okay, and how it's ditched out in certain places. Kind of looking over at this one right here. You can see all of this ditching out of the doors on the routering up here. Really bad. Up on the top, terrible, terrible. Not smooth at all. Not up to a professional level. All right, coming over here, you can see that the doors aren't even square. Okay, there's a definite bend in the door right there because it wasn't square. I don't know if it wasn't cut on a table saw or what happened there, but you can definitely see where it's been ditched out by the router. I don't know if they were just using a hand router, they weren't using a table router, or what happened. Definitely not up to standards. Okay. The drawers won't shut very well. You can see this one right here. You can see how it doesn't quite fit. It hits on right there instead of closing all the way, which leaves a gap. All right, and some of the other drawers have a hard time also. You can feel that where it hits, it won't close anymore. I have to push really hard to get it to go. All right. The knobs on the drawers aren't centered on some of these. Some of them don't look too bad, but some of them are definitely off center. Okay, you can see how that's off center. I don't know if they were eyeballing it or how that was done. Cabinets aren't lined up. You can kind of see on the top how that one's lower than that one. Over here, not lined up very well. All right, you can also see the cabinet handles aren't lined up. Let me see if I can get a shot of that somehow. Kind of hard to see from this angle, but they're not completely, there you go, you can kind of see it there. How that right one is lower than the left, so they're not lined up very well. Okay, you can see how that one's higher also. Doesn't really fit in this area. You can see down at the bottom it's very snug. I don't know if they just measured the bottom, but then once you come up to the top, you can see there's a very large gap. It goes up to probably a little over an inch up there. Okay, and over on this side, same thing. Very large gap. Looks like the trim piece made it all the way across on this side. On the other side, it did not, however, and there's no way for us to close that gap. Cabinet doors don't open smooth. You can see down here where this one's tried to open, and you can see how it scratches the top of the table because they built the cabinet doors so that they sit right down on top of the base. Okay, so when it opens, you can hear it scratching right there because they didn't build those doors up a little bit to give space for them to open. On the doors, you can see on all of, especially on this 1x2 furring strip, they didn't even drive the nails in all the way. They're sticking out quite a ways. And they just painted over them. I don't know if they just thought that that would add to the look of it and make it look better or what, but on the ones that they did drive in, they didn't really fill in the holes very well. They just painted over them. You can see it's here again. They're sticking out all over the place, and over here, sticking out really far. So that's unacceptable also. It's not sanded. You can definitely see how it's very rough to the touch. You can see all the grain in the wood through the paint. You can see they didn't fill in the lines very well. And you can see up here how it's ditched out on that 1x2 furring strip. They also put a cut line right in the middle of the furring strip on the top of that trim piece, right at eye level, which is very, very unsightly. The paint job is really bad. You can see brush strokes from the paint job. So they used a very coarse paintbrush, obviously, in a very rushed job. You can see the paint doesn't match very well. All right. So you can see that there's a lot of things that we are not happy with about this cabinet. Okay, and so for it to be a professional installation, we are not happy with it, and we're going to be returning it for a full refund, and we are not going to pay a dime for it. So this is just documentation in case there's any litigious activity after this. So hopefully there's not, and we won't have to use this video.